Good morning, welcome to the channel King of Cardboard, where we are starting a new series about cardboard packaging regarding starting your own cardboard packaging production business. Here we will casually discuss how to start your journey with a bit more cardboard packaging. In this episode, I will talk about the basics, what you need to know about the cardboard itself, ordering this cardboard, a bit about machines and prices, and maybe also about dyes, if we have time. Of course, this is the first episode of such a series. There will also be more episodes which I invite you to in the future. To not miss any other episode, I encourage you to subscribe with the bell so you will receive notifications, and I invite you to write questions to me. If you are curious and have any questions regarding cardboard packaging production, I will definitely answer them in the upcoming episodes, so you can write them down below in the comments section. So let's start today's episode, which is about cardboard, this very cardboard. If we want to start producing these cardboard packages, we need to know what kind of packaging we want to produce. The two most popular types here are die-cut boxes and flat boxes. Flat boxes, which are for couriers, for postal shipping and parcel locker shipping. As for the other type, die-cut packaging, these are packages that have some rounding, some ears for inserting into gaps in the packaging, some slots, and so on. These are types of packaging for which we need a die for production. Otherwise, we cannot produce these packages. Without such a die, as I mentioned about the machines, we will also talk about that, but we will probably discuss it in more depth in future episodes about those machines. For now, we are focusing on the packaging itself. We have different types of dies, but I will also talk about that in future episodes. But we need to know that if we want to change the dimensions of these die-cut packages, even by a millimeter, whether we want to increase or decrease the size, we unfortunately need a new die. Or modify the die, which I also do not recommend very much. It is possible to modify the die, but I do not recommend it because it involves too much hassle with such a die. The second type is flap packaging. Here, it is also possible to produce such flap packaging from a die, but it is not usually done. Here we have another type of machines for such production, meaning those that do not require tools, that is, do not require die. Here, it is just a simple adjustment of the machine. We adjust the machine and obtain a different dimension of the packaging. Now we have to decide which ones we want to produce. Do we want to produce die-cut or flap packaging? Of course, we can produce both types, absolutely. If we have budget for starting such an activity, then we can definitely produce both. But usually people who start producing these packages have a budget for one machine. Say we have already chosen this one. The packages we want to produce, now we need to know what kind of cardboard we want to produce them from. Cardboard is not equal to cardboard, especially due to the hardness of the cardboard and the color of the cardboard. When it comes to hardness, I say hardness in quotes, the so-called grammage of this cardboard. The lower the grammage, the weaker the packaging is, the higher it is, the stronger it is. If we have established the grammage of this cardboard, something not the lowest, not the highest, in an average range, let's say 400 grammage, 400 GSM, depending on how the manufacturer marks it. Now we need to determine what kind of wave we want to have. When we look at the cross-section of a sheet of cardboard, place it on the table, and observe the packaging from the side, we can see that it has a wave inside, right, and several layers, such as the bottom layer, the top layer, and the wave in the middle is also a layer. For example, the wave in the middle is a crucial layer. There are 3-layered, 5-layered, 7-layered, and 2-layered ones, among others. Most likely, if you are starting your journey with packaging, you will be producing from 3-layer or 5-layer, or 2 layers are rather not produced because there is no stiffness. If we were to make some packaging, there is simply no stiffness in this 2-layer packaging. So at the beginning we will produce packaging from 3-layer or 5-layer cardboard. The names here, as I said, 3-layer and 5-layer are names for Poland. In Germany, for example, or in the States, they refer to our 3-layer cardboard as 2-layer. They do not count the middle layer and refer to it differently, but we are focusing here on Poland. We have chosen this 3-layer cardboard, and now we need to choose the type of flute. That is what we have in the middle. The flute can be high or low, flute B, flute C. When it comes to 3-layer, And if we have 5 layer, we know that we have 2 of these flutes. So we have 5 layers of this cardboard. We can have BC, that is 1 layer B, the second layer C. We can have EB, which means 1 layer, E, and the second layer B. When it comes to these names, flute E, flute B, it all concerns the height of the flute. And it is given in millimeters how high the flute is. That is, how high we have this. From tip to tip, you could say, this flute, usually especially for beginners who will be ordering cardboard. First, this is flute B. It is rather used when it comes to 3-layer cardboard. As for 5-layer, that also depends. So that's rather BC. BC is for 5-layer cardboard, a more inflated type, while EB looks more aesthetically pleasing when the box is assembled. But let's focus for now on the basics, meaning we have chosen the cardboard, we have chosen 3-layer cardboard, flute B, and now it is necessary to determine what color the cardboard should be. When we look at the cardboard, the most ordinary one we can find at hand, it is usually brown in color. On one side and the other, we have a brown color. Colloquially, it was called gray cardboard. I called it gray cardboard, but everyone knows it is brown cardboard. For the purposes of this film, I will say it is gray cardboard. So, remember that it is brown cardboard. We can order gray cardboard where we will receive brown color on both sides. 1 layer at the bottom and another layer on top will be brown. The flute is always brown. It can be brown like the outer ones. However, it can be a brown one, perhaps different from this. Here it doesn't matter. We can also order single-sided white cardboard, meaning on one side we will have the brown or gray, and on the other side we will have white or double-sided white, which means both sides will be white cardboard. There will simply be white paper on this cardboard. Color affects the price of cardboard, as well as the flute affects the price of cardboard, and of course the layers also affect the price of cardboard. Now if we're talking about the price, we can move on to the price of cardboard. Everyone receives their own price list. The price list depends on how much cardboard is ordered monthly, in one go, depending on the supplier. Prices are always given in square meters. So, a square meter of cardboard costs a certain amount of a specific type. Here, regarding converting square meters to sheets and so on, we will discuss it in future episodes. Here, don't worry if you don't know how to convert. We will definitely discuss this in future episodes. And the price of cardboard does not really matter whether you live close to a particular cardboard manufacturer or far away. Here, everything is included in the transport, and this transport will cost you the same whether you live 50 kilometers from the cardboard manufacturing factory or 600 kilometers from it. Many people I am in contact with ask me where to find the nearest cardboard manufacturer and so on. It really doesn't matter. If you live in Gdansk, you might even get a cheaper price for cardboard with transport from Rzeszów, let's say, than somewhere locally. It's not worth looking at that either. Many people mistakenly interpret that you need to buy some commercial formats, then cut them into smaller pieces, etc. It doesn't make sense here. You can definitely order the formats you need. There are some minimum restrictions, so let's say you can order 300 mm depending on the manufacturer, and the maximum, some 5-meter sheets can be ordered. But other than that, you can order any sheet you want, no need for commercial sizes. In my opinion, this comes from the fact that many people order through wholesalers. Wholesalers usually have some commercial sheets purchased for themselves. I also advise against buying cardboard sheets from wholesalers because it will be more expensive than from the manufacturer. Unless you need to buy small quantities, then that's perfectly fine. It should be noted that when buying cardboard from the manufacturer, there is also a minimum amount that must be purchased for a given format. Some have 300 maracas, some have 500 maracas, and some have $1,000 maracas. You also need to pay attention to that. 1,000 also needs to be taken into account here. And regarding payments, when it comes to cardboard manufacturers, initially you will definitely have something like a prepayment requirement. A prepayment for the first invoice or the first 2 invoices, depending on the manufacturer of the cardboard as well. But only later can you try for some payment terms, 14 days or 30 days, or 30 days. And then, if we finally know what cardboard to order, we know what wave, what weight, what color, and from which manufacturer, the manufacturers usually have these cardboards, meaning these specific waves, so that you don't have to say every time what wave it is, what color it is, what weight it is. They have them under certain symbols. Everyone receives, as I mentioned, a price list that has all these listed with symbols. And then it's easy to simply order by symbol, so we provide a format, let's say 1000 x 1000 millimeter, and that symbol, and we order the quantity we need. At this point we can specify either pieces or square meters. If it's pieces, then of course you need to calculate whether the quantity of pieces of that specific format meets the minimum square meters that the manufacturer has. Let's say our sheets have reached that minimum. We write that we need 1000 pieces, so those 1000 pieces have definitely reached our format. We just wait for our format to arrive. Some manufacturers have delivery times of up to 7 days, some up to 14 days, and some require a longer wait. The quality of these cardboards from manufacturers, which we will also discuss in future episodes, varies. It really does vary. Depending on the manufacturer, this quality can differ. And this is not only regarding some strength parameters, not to mention the ECT parameters, which we haven't discussed today. We will talk about them in future episodes. But for example, about the quality of color, about the simplicity of this format itself, so that the format is not bent. If the format is bent, it becomes more difficult to produce the packaging on the machines. Actually, that's just all regarding this introduction to the production of cardboard packaging. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you have any questions for me regarding production, feel free to write them below. We'll try to answer these questions in the upcoming episodes. And I invite you to the next episodes. In this series, I think a lot be clarified, because many people ask me how to start this packaging production, because to be honest, the cardboard packaging market is, let's say, quite hermetic for now. No one really wants to say much about it, etc., etc. And it would be good to change that a bit. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up if this episode brought you some knowledge. Until next time.